Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the body you've relied on for every step, every embrace, every burst of laughter, suddenly refuses to move the way it should. Imagine feeling pain not as a fleeting sting, but as a constant, unshakable presence, a shadow draped around your spine, gripping tighter with each passing day. For Amy Schumer, this wasn't just an isolated bad moment. It was a battle that had been unfolding quietly, hidden behind her humor and public appearances. For years. A battle that began long before most people even knew her name back in her teenage years, with a high school surfing accident that left behind an injury she couldn't have predicted would follow her into adulthood. That wave may have carried her across the water in a rush of adrenaline, but it also planted the seed of pain in her lower back, damage that silently lingered for decades before demanding the spotlight. Fast forward to recent months, and that old injury came roaring back. No longer content to be just an occasional nuisance. The final push came after a horseback riding incident, an activity that should have been joyful, freeing, maybe even a little daring, but for Amy, it became the moment that reignited a long-dormant agony. And yet, in true Amy fashion, she didn't immediately stop. She got back on the horse, literally, a quiet act of defiance that speaks volumes about her spirit. But the pain had made up its mind. It wasn't going to be ignored anymore. And so, the decision was made. It was time for surgery, laminectomy, a precise, delicate procedure where surgeons remove a portion of the vertebral bone, creating space to relieve the unrelenting pressure on the nerves around her L5 vertebra. It's the kind of surgery that demands skill, patience, and a long, careful recovery. But for Amy, it was also a lifeline. In the days that followed, the world caught its first glimpse of her post-operation, standing with the support of a walker, a hospital gown hanging loosely, her hair pulled back, a defiant smile on her face that said, "Yes, I've been through hell, but I'm still here." From her hospital bed, she couldn't resist doing what she does best, finding the humor in even the most difficult situations. She joked about overhearing that pickleball seemed to keep the ward in business. She laughed that when she was fully recovered, she'd finally buy a bra. It wasn't just comedy, it was a coping mechanism, a way to reclaim power in a space where patients can feel stripped of it. That walker wasn't a symbol of defeat. It was a symbol of progress, of refusing to let this chapter be defined by pain alone. And this isn't the first time Amy has faced health challenges head-on. Earlier this year, she was diagnosed with Cushing's syndrome, a hormonal disorder that can bring with it a barrage of symptoms, from weight gain to fatigue, from muscle weakness to mood changes. For many, it's an isolating and frightening diagnosis, but Amy didn't hide it. She talked about it. She shared what she was going through with her audience, pulling back the curtain on the idea that fame somehow shields you from the vulnerabilities of the human body. She's been equally transparent about her journey with weight loss medications, admitting that she struggled on Ozempic before finding more stability with Mounjaro. These aren't the kinds of admissions celebrities often make, but that's the thing about Amy. She doesn't curate a perfect image. She's messy, she's raw, she's real, and people connect with that. When she speaks, you get the sense she's talking with you, not at you. Now, with her back surgery behind her, the road ahead is one of rehabilitation. Slow, measured steps, limited movement, the humbling reality of needing help to do things she once did without a thought, getting out of bed, walking to the bathroom, even sitting comfortably for any length of time. But recovery is more than just a physical process, it's emotional, it's mental. And for someone like Amy, whose life and career are built on commanding a stage, holding a mic, and pouring herself into a performance, this downtime is both a challenge and an opportunity. Friends say she's already thinking about her return. Not just to the stage, but to her audience. She's storing away observations, collecting moments from this recovery that she one day spin into stories, because if there's one thing Amy knows how to do, it's take life's blows and turn them into punchlines that make people feel a little less alone. The walker will eventually be retired, the scars will fade, and the sterile hospital room will be replaced by the warm glow of the spotlight. But she won't be the same Amy who walked in for surgery. She'll be someone who's been tested and come out the other side with even more grit, even more perspective, and even more appreciation for the body that carries her through this life. Right now, she's taking each day as it comes, listening to her doctors, leaning on her support system, and letting her body do the work of healing. It's not glamorous. It's not the kind of thing you see in movies, but it's real. And it's exactly in that reality where Amy's power lies, showing that you can be vulnerable without being weak, that you can be in pain without losing your joy, and that you can face setbacks without letting them define your future. So if you've been following her journey, know this: Amy Schumer's story is nowhere near over. In fact, it's just gearing up for another act. One filled with resilience, laughter, and the kind of authenticity that can only come from walking sometimes literally with a walker through the fire and finding your way out on the other side. And when she takes that stage again, microphone in hand, ready to share what she's been through, the laughter in the room won't just be about the jokes. It will be about relief. It will be about shared humanity. It will be about the joy of seeing someone rise, not in spite of the struggle, but because of it. So here's to the next chapter. Amy, we're rooting for you every step of the way. And if you're watching this, join in that cheer, like this video to show your support, leave a comment with your own words of encouragement, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the moment Amy Schumer steps back into the spotlight, stronger, funnier, and more unshakably herself than ever before.